What's going on, people? Fix my hat. Shit, fix my hat. Yeah, fix my hat right quick. Fix my hat. New York look on. You know what I'm saying? Fix up my hat. Anyway, people. Yeah, man. So my glasses. Yeah. Anyway, this is Kid Shiardi Gaming Network. So I got 3 channels: Kid Shiardi Gaming Nation, which I changed it to Kid Shiardi Views and Vlogs. This is Kid Shiardi Gaming Nation or Gaming Network. And then I have another channel called Yardi Views and Vlogs, right? Views and Reviews. That one I do more for dating and mating. And the main channel I do stuff specific to masculinity, political commentary, and all that good stuff. This gaming channel, I do stuff about this, right? I shoot out game pitches. I do things on basically, like, I have a big knowledge base from various different universes, from not all of them completely. Like, for example, Warhammer 40K is a big fucking universe. So I don't know everything about it. I know bits and pieces about it, but I'm a fan of it, right? I have to go play the board game of it. I'm a fan of the Predator universe. I'm a fan of Halo. I'm a fan of technology, all of that. But this video, I got to do this on. And remember to like, share, subscribe to the video. But my videos, right? You're gonna have to forgive me for my flow, right? I do presentations. So what you might have to do is you might have to pause the video and come back, because I know the attention span got short over the COVID time because of the short YouTube shorts or whatever. But that's okay. You know, what you do is you take a break every 5 to 10 minutes. You come back, you know, in your break time or whatever. You at work, you at school, lunchtime, you watch the videos, or, you know, you always come back to the video. The video is always going to be here, right? And make sure you watch at least 30 minutes to an hour of what I have to present, because there's a lot of value that I present here that you guys can go look up, right? I'm never going to say that I am the center of all knowledge. I'm bringing the knowledge that I present of what I found that other people could go research and look up for themselves, right? Now, to begin, what Disney is trying to do with this Yautja franchise, with the Predator franchise, is they're trying to feminize it, feministize it, right? Feminize it. So what's been happening is that women have been destroying a lot of Marvel comics, a lot of through Disney doing it, right? They've been destroying a lot of Marvel comics, a lot of comics and superhero movies that came from the 80s and 90s that were about pure masculinity and pure, like if you look at the 80s and the 90s, those are raw masculinity, black masculinity, white masculinity. You go back to the first part of the movie, you saw Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers do that motherfucking clap, and you saw their muscles bulge up. Yo, I was inspired to go to bodybuilding, go into bodybuilding and martial arts because of guys like Craig Munson or Arnold Schwarzenegger, or a lot of the black bodybuilders of that time, Ronnie Coleman. I got inspired to go do martial arts by seeing Blade movie. Shout out to Wesley Snipes, and watching another person that I'm a fan of, Michael Jai White, because when I used to go through karate out in Harlem, he used to study there and practice there. So I got inspired by those men to become a martial artist, to now doing MMA, to now doing boxing and wrestling, and now into bodybuilding, right? So that 80s and 90s, it produced a lot of movies that were raw masculinity. And a lot of the women know it, right? So what a lot of the feminists doing through Disney is that they're trying to erase or take away a lot of that, right? Especially with the Predator movie. If you go watch the original Predator, there was a lot of masculinity in that movie, a lot of rawness in that movie. So what they're doing, they're taking something that Dark Horse comics did intentionally, right? Dark Horse, and I'm going to go into it. The Dark Horse wanted to stay away from the human gender politics and make something neutral, right? So the reason why they put that the women are bigger or stronger or whatever is to separate it from men being only bigger and stronger, to stay away from what we see going on today, right? And what the women are doing, and what a lot of you fellas are going into, is you're going into exactly what Dark Horse tried to stay away from, right? And we're going to go into it today, right? And because there are a lot of new fans to the franchise, a lot of younger fans to the franchise, and these things, what Disney's going to do is they're going to project a lot of the new age feminist woke stuff on you guys, because you don't know the lore, you don't know the Predator franchise, you don't really know it, or you're getting things from a lot of Fanon canon. You feel me? A lot of fan lore stuff. You feel me? And then some of you are going to say, do I hate women? I don't hate women. I do not hate women. I like order and structure. See, women hate men because they don't like the idea that men, as far as humans are concerned, that men are charged with the task of leadership, dominance, strength, strategy. And like I told you in the prior video that I made to this, yes, being dominant, being strong, being powerful, being all that stuff is part of masculinity. But more than that, a man has to be wise. He has to be intelligent. He has to be able to think, organize, right? In a prior video, I talked about the Godfather of Harlem series that I'm currently watching. Bumpy Johnson, he had to have might and muscle and power and strength, but he also had to have intelligence and wisdom too, right? That's how he was able to outsmart and survive so long in Harlem against a lot of those Italian mob crime families because of his intelligence. So being a man is more than just brute force and brute strength, which is what Dark Horse wanted to show you guys, right? With the male predator. But y'all missed that part, and I'm going to show you. Now, I'm going to view this clip of this brother here. This is what I'm talking about. So shout out to this brother. No beef, no smoke, no static to you. But this is what I mean.
For Predator Badlands, because it looks like in the future we might be getting a movie with female Yautja. At the end of the movie, we see.
What did I say yesterday, right? If you want to get a movie featuring female Yautja, why don't you start off the female movie? Why don't you start it off with female leads in the movie? Why don't you make Deck a woman? Why don't you make Deck's father a matriarch? If that's what you wanted to do. Why did you have to use male masculinity, male power source to reel everybody in? Because if you go watch that movie, it was all about masculinity. Human males, especially me, myself, a lot of our lives reflect what Deck went through. A lot of that is masculine energy because a lot of the Predator society is built off of meritocracy or merit earned. Why did you reel everybody in with that? To now make a next movie about women, making the men a side character again, because male masculinity, especially for brothers that look like myself and this brother that I'm reviewing, masculinity is in dire straits right now. My culture is lacking patriarchal guidance right now. Father God, what's the patriarchy? Patriarchy is the etymology, or the etymology of patriarchy is the rule of the father. So that's what we're lacking right now, right? So if that's what you guys were intended, why did you use masculinity? Because that's what Disney is doing. They're reeling everybody with masculinity because they know that masculinity is the power source that sells, to introduce you to some female shit. And because of how the canon is structured by Dark Horse, and because of a lot of the fan lore, what Disney can do with the Fanon canon is retcon a lot of the canon stuff and put a lot of the Fanon canon in it. And we're going to show that. So let me review this brother. Let's go back to this brother here.
A large ship rising on Yautja Prime. And Thea asks Deck, are these more friends of yours? And Deck says, no, it's my mother. So it looks like the female Yautjas are finally getting the recognition on screen that they have been deserving. This is so long overdue. If you follow me, you know we have been covering the female Yautja for a while now. There's an entire Yautja clan of females called the Widow Clan. They all lost their mates, and these women are vicious.
That is true, right? There was a comic book lore. I think there were a lot of male predators that died. So you had females. I think they were called female Yautja called Big Mama, right? And they wanted to take revenge for their lost mates.
I mean, they command the respect of every clan they come across. They really show us why the females are deadlier than the males. In the novel Predator Eyes of the Demon, there was a female named Achille who had to hunt her own son because...
Look at this. All new tales from the expanded Predator universe. Stephen Graham Jones, Linda Addison, Jonathan Marbury, Scott O'Sigel, Peter Briggs, and many more. See what I'm saying? So let's go.
He was a bad blood. She was an enforcer predator. This was a really emotional story. It's actually called Bitter Hunt. But through her pursuit of him, she actually found out why enforcers hate hunting other Yautja. It's not because of any distaste for the assignment, it's because the prey in question had the same technology and training that they did. Their usual tricks don't work against other Yautja, so anytime prey...
So if the female was so deadly, how come that one bad bird predator was giving up hard times?
Was intelligent enough to know the limitations of their scanners, they instantly become a much more deadlier species. But what does all this mean going forward? Deck's mother might not necessarily want to kill him the way his father did.
Yes, they do. If you just said that the female Yautja are just as or deadlier than the predators, that means that they follow the same strict hierarchy, purging the weakness. That's been part of their culture. So if that's part of their culture, and you're saying that he's going to say in this video that the women dictate the culture of Yautja Prime, which is incorrect canonly, when you call according to Dark Horse's canon, that means that she's the one that put that rule in place.
No mistake, the females are way more deadlier than the males. The males don't stand a chance against.
Remember, male Yautja have to hunt a lot of shit that are a lot more dangerous than the female Yautja.
Them. And the females are actually the ones who make all the technology on Yautja Prime. So every Yautja...
You see the lion? There's a lot of lying going on in here. And we're going to showcase the lion.
We've seen when it comes to their tech, their armor, their weapons, their biomasks, everything, their ships, the females made all of that. It's very ironic on Yautja Prime. It's a patriarchal society that's pretty much ran by women. But
why is it always black men that do this? And you know what's so funny is black men. I'm a brother. He's a brother. And we're reviewing a comic book written by white women. Well, written by white men first, then taken over by white women interjecting their own stupidness. Because I have a theory on why this is happening within Disney. I have a theory on why this is happening in Disney. But I'm not going to say it on this live. We're reviewing stories and comic books written by white males. And then white feminist women take somehow, which I know how they're able to take it over. I have a theory on how they were able to take it over. I'm just not going to say it. Taking over these comic books, interjecting it via Disney, and you got black men like this saying this. And I already broke it down in the video that's going to release today. What's today? Today is the 25th. So that video is going to release today. So in that video that releases today, and I'm going to release this video tomorrow, you're going to see what I broke down into, right? And this is exactly what Dark Horse is trying to stay away from, what this dude is doing right here. Wow. So because you're making the technology means that your society is being ran by the women. I'm a construction worker. And a lot of these buildings are being built by construction workers. Does that mean that we run the society? We may be the backbone, but the hierarchy of men, there's a guy at the top that is in charge or in rulership of the kingdom, right? That's like you having a Damu, a lord of the land. And because you have the farmers as they're making the food, that the farmers run the Damu of that land or the lord of that land. Remember, the reason why the farmers are able to grow crop are able to do those things within the land is because the Damu allows it to be. And the farmers gain protection from that Damu or that lord of the land. But anyway, I'm going to do on my main channel the history of patriarchy and masculinity. It's going to be a series. And because our concept of patriarchy today, it comes through a feminized or feministic viewpoint of where women cherry pick things from the past that went wrong on the patriarchy and try to say, well, the reason why patriarchy shouldn't exist and women should rule is because back in the barbarian days where it was much rootless, an unforgiving environment where men had to be rootless during that time, right? And they're going to cherry pick things from that time that say, oh no, this one instance where this one male did something imperfect, and now we're going to say, oh, this is the reason why men shouldn't rule and why women should rule. And now it's replaying itself in these movies that we see here today. Let's go.
But with Deck's mother showing up, the possibilities are endless. I personally don't think she'll be after him like his dad was. I don't think she'll be trying to kill him. At the end of the day, she is a mother, and
yeah, but she's not a mother by the human lens. She's a mother as far as they're concerned in their culture. This is what Dark Horse is trying to avoid.
The females,
hold on. The females amongst Earth, here on Earth, in human society, women or mothers are way more ruthless towards their children than the men. Statistics show this. Women are more, they have more what you call empathy for their own children as far as women are concerned. But when it comes to other kids, not so much. Go look up those stepmothers. How do stepmothers usually treat the female children and the male children that didn't belong to her, as opposed to stepfathers? Where stepdaddies in human culture or human society, they'll take care of a kid, that they'll have more sympathy or love for a kid that's not theirs. They'll come in there. What story was this? Eddie Murphy just did a documentary about that. He talked about how his stepfather came in, took care of him, and raised him and his brothers and to what they were today. As opposed to stepmothers. Look at lions and cats. Look at dogs. If a female lion sees that the male children are weak, she'll cast them out to pride and eat them. You ever look at ant colonies? Most of the ant colonies are female ran or female. But guess what? Even in an ant colony, the male ants are still more important because they need the male ants to breed and reproduce. But that's a whole nother science.
Mothers are motherly. One of the coolest female Yautja is Sister Midnight. She kind of resembles Deck's father with the cape and the horns on her biomask and everything. But it is about time that the girls start getting some recognition on screen. What do y'all think, though? What did you think of the ending to Badlands? Because I'm not going to lie, when I first saw this ship, I immediately thought of the warlord Predator from Killers of Killers. But when he said that was his mother...
All right, so there that is. So, the biggest mistake... Well, I don't think Dark Horse started with it this way, and I'm going to show you why. Now, mind you, these are comic books written by men. And these are comic books written by men trying to give... Anyway, so let's go into the reason. I'll give my personal opinion after. I'll go through this. Are Yautja females responsible for making better technology? Short answer, no. Canon does not state that Yautja females are the creators, engineers, or primary designers of Predator technology. Technology's creation is attributed to the species as a whole with no gender-specific technology caste, confirmed in official lore, right? Let's break down what the canon actually shows and what it doesn't reveal. No film or novel confirms female tech roles, right? So I don't know where he got that from. So they're saying AVP and AVP are semi-canon because I remember way a while back I watched a video where one of the, I guess, the people, the creators of the franchises was like, no, it was never intended for the alien or the xenomorphs to ever have a cross encounter with each other. You know what I'm saying? I think what happened in Predator 2, there was a skull, a trophy of a xenomorph. So I guess that's where that came into the play. Nowhere does it state that females are the inventors, builders, or designers of plasma casters, cloaking device, biomass, medical kits, armor, risk, computers, ships. No source says females engineer it. No source says males engineer it. It's simply not gender divided. Yautja society is merit-based, not gender-based. Canon repeatedly states Yautja society is hierarchical. Hunting ability determines status. Gender is irrelevant to rank. Strength, honor, and skill determine social standing. Females are larger, stronger, more aggressive, but this translates to hunt. Combat dominance, not technological roles, right? So he's correct. The female Yautja are bigger and stronger, but there's a reason why Dark Horse Comics did that. We're going to get into it. Technology origin is treated as species-wide. In multiple novels and comics, technology is described as ancient, developed by Yautja ancestors before the modern clan system, improved over thousands of years, passed down by the species collectively, not tied to a specific clan, specific gender, specific class. The tech is cultural, not gender assigned. Extended universe shows males maintaining and modifying tech. While not definitive, many examples exist of male Yautja. Modifying weapons, repairing gear, setting traps, hacking human tech, customizing masks, crafting trophies. This implies technical competence among hunters, not reliance on female engineers, right? Weapons, repairing gear, setting traps, hacking human tech, customizing masks, crafting trophies, right? This implies technical competence among hunters, not a reliance on female. So, you know what I'm saying? No source ever. So this is what this means right here. Male Yautja are very intelligent. They can operate their tech and craft their own stuff. And you saw Deck do it in Predator Badlands, right? And customizing their own mask. No source ever states females build all the tech. This idea is fan speculation, usually based on females being bigger, maybe they're the builders. Males being hunters, maybe females stay home and engineer. But none of that is supported by Canon. The most accurate Canon answer, Yautja technology is developed by the Yautja species collectively. Canon never assigns that role to females, males, or any specific caste. The Yautja are a warrior culture, an honor culture, but not a gender-segregated society. Both males and females hunt, lead clans, and use tech. I just had a thought, right? Because most of the younger generation, like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and a little bit of the millennials, and I'm a millennial, I'm 33 years old, right? But I was born in like 1992, early 90s, East New York, Brooklyn, right? So my batch of millennials are closer to the Gen X stage, a little bit closer to them, right? So we have a different. We're cut from a different cloth, I want to say. But when you look into the younger millennials and you look into the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they were born into a more feminized, gynocentric society. So now they are going to be more hip or more aligned to a lot of the movies that are more female-centric. This is why a lot of women keep saying you got to decenter men or decapitate men, which is going to be very bad if you do that in terms of human society. So this is what you're going to see, and it started over COVID, before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID. You've seen it in the video games where it's just going woke, and it's like to empower women, you got to destroy male-led franchises. And because of Dark Horse putting this in their comics, and we're going to show why they did it, they're going to use this one thing that Dark Horse did and blow it up. Just say, oh no, the Yautja society are female ran, as this brother said in the clip, right? So these are the novels, right? Canon answer, no. There's no canon confirm all-female Yautja clan. There's no canon confirm all-female clan on Yautja Prime. There's no clan in the canon or lore where females exclusively operate, hunt, or rule alone. This applies to Yautja Prime, all 4 colonies, extended universe clans, tribes, world packs, hunter clans, etc. Nothing in Canon names, describes, or even hints at a fully female-only clan. Many people confuse this with the female Yautja in the 2010 game, Predators Hunting Grounds concept art. Some early concept art suggests larger, stronger females. No clan was ever described as an all-female. The game is not counted to film. So that game, Predator Hunting Grounds concept art, is not counted to the films. Right. Fan interpretation of Michicho. So this character, right? So what happened with her, right? She was part of a clan ran by a male by the name of Top Knot. So what happened is that she didn't like the idea of, she didn't like how the clan was treating the humans that were part of the clan. So what she did is she broke away from Top Knot and made her own clan, and she got permission to do that by one of the male elders on Yautja Prime. Since Michicho was adopted into a clan, some assume females rarely leave homeworld. Maybe there are secret female clans, but the comics never state that, right? So I'm going to show you her. So y'all don't have to say that I am capping. You don't say I'm capping. Or cap. I had it looked up here. All right, so clan matriarch. See, this is the bullshit, and I'm going to show you. Joe's Top Knot. So let me share this. And I'm going to show you what else I was looking at after that. All right. So I'm going to move this after I show y'all this. So this is Top Knot, right? So this is the client. So this is Top Knot right here. This is Top Knot. Top Knot. This is Machiko Noguchi. She was Japanese and she was part of a Yakuza clan or whatever. And I wonder from this, does it showcase why she left the clan? All right, so let me go back to the original. So this is what I'm looking at right here. All right, I'm looking at this. So Top Knot. He's the current clan boss, right? And the Broken Tusk, I think that's one of his brothers or something like that, from what I remember. I'm not going to go through all of this right now. But this is Top Knot. This is a clan that she was part of, right? So let's go back to this. Share this. Share this. Why did she leave Top Knot's clan? Let's see if it'll say it here. Top Knot's clan because she betrayed them after to help humans. After hearing the distress signal of a human ship, she sided with the humans, killed 2 of Top Knot's predators, and unleashed and captured the xenomorph Crane, which directly led to her permanent departure from the clan. She ultimately sided with the human survivors, Brian Ellis and Captain Laura, against her former clanmates. Right? So also she rebelled. So that's what happened. My bad. I thought that I read somewhere that the reason why she left the clan to go start her own was because of how the humans or beings were being treated by the clan. Maybe I have to read up more when I have time. Um, mm. Now, this is what I was looking at before. This. And this is AI drawing it from fandom. Right? So when you type stuff into Google, right? Google draws the information based on these sources. And a lot of it is coming from Clan Xenomorph fandom, Fanon Canon. So let's go into the Fanon Canon. It's the Fanon Canon, right? So Xenomorph, Xenopedia, and there's more on this that I'm going to show later. So look at this. And there was something that I saw that said updated. Like they updated something. All right, so here it is. Let's see. So here it is. Let me see when this was updated. So let me share this. This is Female Predators updated. It was updated by Wolf Predator Queen, 12th January 2018. User blog Predator Queen. Did you know Yautja society is matriarchal, meaning that their social organization, the females are in charge? Sound familiar? That's because the social organization of elephants is matriarchal, as elephants live in a tight-knit matrilineal group led by the eldest. You know the reason why that is? I could tell you why, and I've done videos on why that is. The reason why is because the male elephants are a lot bigger and stronger than the female elephants. And what happens amongst the male elephants is that they go through something called musk every season. And there's a gland in their forehead that when that happens, it amplifies. So what happens is that the male elephants become so fucking dangerous that they can kill the female elephants in their clan. So what happens is during the musk season, the male elephants, they come and they breed and they bounce, they dip out. Because during that time, they become so big and massive and strong that they can kill the female elephants that's there. And I've broken that down in videos before on my main channel, right? And I might do a video again about that. The reason why the male lions, right? Because they do the same shit with male lions. When you see the female lion swatting the male lion, it's not because he's afraid of her. He's tolerating what she's doing. In that moment, he's trying to breed, right? But so what happens amongst the lions, right? If the male lion will kill that female lion if she's refusing to breed with him, right? Because what he can easily do is go bite her their neck, and this happened before. They showed video clips of this happening. It's just that now we're in a more gynocentric society. They won't show that part, where the male lions end up killing the female lions because the female lions refuse to breed with the male lions. That's what happens. This is what I'm talking about by a lot of these feminists. They nitpick and cherry pick things, and they don't get the full context. You know what? I'm actually going to do that video now. I'm going to do a video about male elephants, male hierarchy, and male lions and why they do what they do. I'm actually going to do that video again. All right, so they're basing this. This is a fan-made thing. Basing this off of why male elephants do what they do. Look at this. Males do not evolve themselves in female politics, and females have little to no interest in male socialization. But as Yautja are individuals, there could be an exception, as there could be a few more females that do have some interest in males. So that's a whole feminist thing, because a lot of feminists today say like, yo, they don't want to be in male groups, which is a lie. Every time there's a male organization amongst humans, females always try to bump their ass in there. Look at this part. So now what could potentially happen is they could set this up to be like a hyena clan. Wow. So this was added in here, updated by this person. This is Fan. This is all fan-made, fan thing, fan and Canon. Anyway, let's go back to my presentation. And that's exactly what Disney can do. Disney can retcon the canon and add the Fanon canon in there. Zero canon evidence, right? What is canon regarding female Yautja? Here's what the official material actually confirms. Female Yautja exists, confirmed, but they're rarely shown. Females are larger, stronger, more aggressive. This is stated in Predator Flesh and Blood and then hinted in platform sources, right? Females can be clan leaders. One novel mentions a matriarch who outranks all male hunters, which I'm not taking that away. This implies women hold power, women can lead clans, but not the entire clans are female only. No separation of sex into different clans. All canon clans shown are mixed gender, right? No canon source, no comic, no novel, no film, and no official guidebook ever states that all female Yautja clan exists on the Yautja Prime or anywhere else. There's no all-female clan, no name group, and no official reference in supporting it. Extended Universe, Dark Horse Comics, novel, APVP games, Concrete Jungle, Rage Roar, etc. Still no official recognized all-female clans. Not in any of these here. Even in the book he mentioned, he said Forever Midnight, it just shows a female predator going on a hunt. And I got to go read that comic, by the way. Female Yautja appear, including Machito's clan matriarch, Sister Midnight, right? So this is where they appear, right? Clan matriarch. But never once is an entire, and I have to go look up what I said about Machito's clan matriarch and probably going to do a video on it. But from what I remember looking up is that she left Top Knot not only because of what I showed, but because she didn't like how human beings were treated. So she went and created her own or something like that. But never once is an entire clan described as exclusively female. However, the closest thing to a female-like clans, not female-only clans, these exist in extended universe material and are described as matriarchal rule, mixed gender numbers, extended universe. So extended universe is always fan added. You feel me? And I showed y'all in the prior video. I'm probably going to show it here. All right. Fanon canon. Fanon. Fan communities, Divine Art, Reddit, Wiki Fanon, custom RPGs, OC world building. Yes, this is the only place where all female Yautja clans exist. This includes Sisters of the Hunt. A popular fan concept often imagined as an elite all-female hunter clan, specializing in high-risk xenomorph hunts, enforcing strict honor codes. Not official, 100% fan-made. All fan-made, right? All right. Rated by Yautja species as a whole, not by males, not by females, not by any single caste. There's no canon extended universe statement assigning tech creation to one gender or a specific group. Final breakdown. All right. Ancient. And I'm going to go into how Yautja tech is ancient and where it comes from. All right. This is important. Canon treats Yautja technology the same way Klingons' weapons or Mandalorian gear is treated. A culture inheritance of the entire species, right? So what is clear? It is considered standardized sacred equipment, not do-it-yourself gear, right? Even though we do see a lot of Yautja, especially Deck, do a lot of do-it-yourself or on-the-fly stuff. So even in the extended universe, there is still no single group responsible for making tech. But here's what is hinted. Some Yautja engineers are technicians. Books like Flesh and Blood and Predator, China Sea reference, workers maintaining ships, technicians repairing cloaking fields, others overseeing weapon upgrades. But those engineers are never described as male only or female only. Scientists exist rarely mentioned. In Waged War, some Yautja specialize in gene modifications, and that was shown in the Predator 2018 movie, right? The upgrade Predator, right? Gene modification, ship engineering, biotechnology. But again, no gender assignment. Clan elders commission new weapons. Elders decide when a weapon becomes worthy to be mass-produced, but they don't personally build it, just approve it. Artisans craft armor, ceremonial weapons. These artisans are unnamed, unsexed, simply craftsmen or weapon forgers. Again, species-wide roles, not gender. Reality. Technology is a sacred inheritance maintained by specialized technicians, but not male only or female only, controlled by elders. They guarded the secrets, right? Upgraded collectively. Like, for example, in the movie Prey, right? His technology was based off of bone because of the tribe he comes from on his planet Yautja Prime, right? That's why his technology was like bone-based. Right? The way humans, but Canon destroys this idea. Females hunt, lead, fight, and kill just like males. There's no gender divide in the Yautja society the way humans imagine it, which is what Dark Horse was trying to stay away from. Dark Horse primary rule. So this is what Dark Horse intended. Do not humanize the Yautja. This is stated repeatedly by Dark Horse editors. Writers like John O'Carty, Mark Verdon, and the Perry Brothers, internal franchise guidelines used for Predator comics and novels. Their fear was simple. If you make Yautja too much like humans, they stop being alien. If you impose human gender politics, which you're trying to do now, you break their culture. So the rule was, Yautja society must be alien, amoral, honor-based, and not modeled after human patriarchy and matriarchy. Why Dark Horse refused to make males or females the dominant sex? Dark Horse had a meeting in the early 90s about handling female Yautja. The reasoning was clear. If males dominate, you copied human patriarchy. If females dominate, you copied human matriarchy or Amazonian mythology. If you have gender wars, you copied human social conflict. If you divide labor by gender, you copied human anthropology. Their mission was keep Yautja cultural alien, not metaphor for humans. That's why in Dark Horse, both males or females hunt, both fight, both lead clans, both have similar roles, both kill, both operate technology, both perform rituals, both can become elders. They deliberately avoid any men rule women. Women rule men, or women build tech, men fight. Build tech, men fight, right? So that's why they did that. Why modern fans and new writers get it wrong? Today's culture is obsessed with female empowerment narratives, role reversal, gender dominance reversal, matriarchal societies, atomized female supremacy themes, turning alien species into metaphors for modern social politics. So what happens? People start saying females should be bigger. Females should be the tech builders. Females should be smarter than the males. Why? Because everything men have done in human society, we've had to earn that. I'm maybe the biggest, strongest, or dominant male. But how do I prove that against other men amongst the environment? How do I use my dominance to conquer the environment? How do I use my dominance to run a kingdom? How do I use my strength, power, and dominance to scale up a society or an empire? How do I do that? How do I use my dominance and combine it with intelligence and brain and intellect? How do I organize that? Like I said with Bumpy Johnson and the Godfather of Harlem, right? Male Yautja society, matriarchal. make males subordinate like animals. That's what they're going to do. This is my theory. This is my theory and my prophecy with Deck and part of the Badlands. This is what they're going to exactly be doing. But here's the flaw, and a lot of you are going to agree with it. But here's the flaw. This is exactly what Dark Horse forbid, because once you do that, the Yautja stop being alien and turn into human gender politics wearing predator masks. You erase the alien culture and just insert modern ideology. What Dark Horse actually said about female Yautja. Dark Horse never made females dominant. They made them bigger plus more aggressive only because it made sense for apex predator species. But they stayed equal in hierarchy and status. Females didn't have separate clans. Females didn't run society. Females didn't outrank males institutionally. They wanted the Yautja worldview to stay honor, strength, kill count, status, not gender. The only hierarchy that mattered was elder, clan, elder, blooded, unblooded, young blooded, bad blood, not male versus female. So we read this again. Dark Horse never made females dominant. They made them bigger plus more aggressive only because it made sense for an apex predator species. But they stayed equal in hierarchy and status. Females didn't have separate clans. They didn't run society. They didn't outrank males institutionally. What you're seeing today is culture projecting. Modern writers and fans unconsciously project feminist ideology, matriarchal fantasy. One must be smarter and must be the smarter, better race. You know how men and human beings prove that we're better? By engaging with the environment, by putting our life and risking our. I got to do that series. That how men, the truth behind male leadership and how we acquired and how we became what we are today. We didn't just get it like that. We didn't just get it because we're men. We have to go out there and prove that our value. We have to go prove our strength. We have to go prove who we were against other men and the environment and the wilderness, which is why I love Deck Part of the Badlands. This is why I love the Predator movies. Because you're a young male Yautja and you have to go prove yourself. But you're still masculinity in itself. And this is what they're doing. They're going to use Deck because Deck is a symbol for a lot of men today. A lot of men today, especially myself, we're born into a world where we have nothing. And we're born in a position of weakness. A lot of black men can identify with Deck. And then we have to go into the world and we have to prove ourselves to everybody and overperform to achieve. And they reeled everybody in with that. And now I'm going to hit you with some matriarchal shit. Again, taking away the essence of what masculinity is. And a lot of you are going to agree with it. This is happening across all sci-fi. Star Wars, Star Trek, Halo, Warhammer, Mass Effect, Marvel, DC, Avatar. And Predator is now feeling that pressure too. But Dark Horse specifically rejected that approach to preserve the alien nature. Modern attempts to make female Yautja a dominant gender are exactly the human ideological projection Dark Horse tried to prevent. They avoided patriarchy, matriarchy, gender supremacy, human social metaphors, sexual stereotypes, gender roles. And you know what's good about this now? Because they make it meritocracy, a merit-based system, it positions whether the Yautja, male or female, they have to go through that hero's journey to get to that top. Just because you're bigger and stronger don't make you more effective. In the world of men, that is proven. A lot of times you could be the bigger, stronger one, but you could be the most dumbest. Right? When you look at the fight between in MMA between Mike Tyson and a lot of the bigger cats that are bigger than him, what did Mike Tyson have? Mike Tyson beat them. Mike Tyson was a 5'10" small heavyweight, right? But how did he beat them? Tactics, getting on the angles. And Mike Tyson is very intelligent and he knows how to operate his style. How did Muhammad Ali beat a bigger person by the name of George Foreman? See what I'm saying? So bigger doesn't, and then look at George Foreman. George Foreman, he learned from that and he was a bigger person and he learned how to operate with his strength. And George Foreman hit harder than Mike Tyson. But George Foreman knew how to time his shots on people faster than him. Look at people like Evander Holyfield, right? He's a counterpuncher, right? And he knew that Mike Tyson liked to throw those leaping hooks. So what would Evander Holyfield do? He'll go in, he'll close in on Mike Tyson because he was Mike Tyson's height, and he would counterpunch him on the way in, and he knew how to duck and dodge. Look at my man. What's his name? I forgot. He fought Tyson. I forgot his name. Tall brother. I forgot his name. However, right? How did he beat Tyson? By jabbing Tyson on the outside instead on the outside of Tyson and keeping away with him with his jab. So it's not about always being the biggest person or the more aggressive person. It's about using tactics. And mind you, Mike Tyson, he has aggressive bully type style, but he knows how to move with it. Anyway, a culture based on strength and honor and hunting ability, nothing else. Dark Horse intentionally prevented the Yautja society from becoming male-dominated or female-dominated because they wanted the species to stay alien neutral and not corrupted by human politics. What people are doing today by making female Yautja dominant, smarter rulers, superior, matriarchal, is the exact opposite of Dark Horse's intended. And it turns the Yautja into humans with dreadlocks instead of a truly alien warrior race. Did Dark Horse make male Yautja the dominant force in their society? Let's go into it. Short answer, yes, but not in a human patriarchal way. Dark Horse intentionally walked a tight line that made the males numerically dominant sex. Males are the most common hunters. Males are the primary culture enforcers. Male elders shown are male. Most clan leaders are shown are male. 80 to 90% of all Yautja seen in Dark Horse work are male. But they did not make females submissive or secondary. They did not make females excluded from leadership. They did not institute patriarchy. They refused to assign gender roles that would be humanizing. So Dark Horse structure is this. Males equal the backbone, the visible structure, and the culture machinery. Females are aware, extremely powerful, but not society running. They treated females like elite, dangerous, respected, potentially higher rank, but not social rulers, right? Sorry for that. I have to fix that. It kind of clips off at the bottom there. Are female Yautja rare? Yes. And this is something many fans don't know. Dark Horse stated that female Yautja are roughly 10 to 20% of the population. The implication they're biologically rarer, they're not seen often off-world, they remain on homeworld clan territory. Their rarity prevents them from being the dominant rulers of the species. This alone destroys modern matriarchal Yautja myth. Are males a cultural institutional power of Yautja? Yes. Dark Horse shows repeatedly all of this. I don't have to repeat this again. Not because females are inferior, but because males are the majority population and the cultural drivers. Exactly like lions, wolves, or killer whales. Females can become elders or matriarchs, but they are statistically less common and not less powerful, right? So this is where their technology comes from. The Mengi enslavement, right? Who are the Mengi? A technologically advanced alien race. Cruel enslavers, treated the early Yautja as animals, used them as labor, gladiators, or servants. This comes from Predator Forever Midnight. AVP lore notes, DH internal notes on early Yautja history. Dark Horse, right? Why were Yautja enslaved? Because at the period, Yautja were primitive. They did not yet have starships. They did not yet have plasma caster. They did not have cloaking. They did not have advanced metallurgy. They were essentially a pre-industrialized warrior species. How Yautja overthrew a Menji. A male Yautja slave led the uprising. He inspired a revolt that overthrew their Menji. I put E. My bad. Fucked up the spelling. Masters. He is remembered as one of the first great leaders of the species. His uprising allowed the Yautja to steal Menji ships, tools, and weaponry. So I got to fix the spelling on this. This is one of Dark Horse's most defining cultural points. Yautja technology is stolen, reverse engineered, and advanced from a Menji design. This includes the earliest versions of starships, cloaking, plasma weaponry, medical kits, armor metallurgy, energy systems. Much like what human beings do, right? Human beings, we could take any technology and reverse engineer them and make them better and suit them according to us, right? The Yautja later modified these into their own style, but the root technology came from their male slave revolt leaders' uprising, right? The Yautja warrior caste was overwhelmingly male. Males were the majority laborers and gladiators. It fit the alien biology and social structure Dark Horse was building. It avoided human feminization narratives. It avoided real-world politics. It kept Yautja culture grounded in strength and honor, not gender. If female led the rebellion, people would have humanized it into female empowerment allegory. Dark Horse hated that idea. They did not want Yautja to reflect human politics. Right? So and that is so let me show you this over here. Right? Right. Some hyenas, some insect species, certain warrior species tropes. But biology does not equal culture, right? So this is what I already did this in a prior video. Culture Yautja patriarchal. Most leadership positions, clan elders, leaders are male. And that's because of what? They're more numerically, statistically dominant. There's more of them than the females, right? What's so funny about this is that males involved are engaged in elite level hunts too. So warrior aristocracy. Your rank is earned. Your gender does not define your value as much as your trophies, rights, and honor codes, right? Female physical dominance. Females are biologically superior, but do not structure society around their dominance, right? And there's a reason for that. So biologically matriarchal, culturally patriarchal, functionally meritocratic. I can't say this word. Meritocracy. So they're based on merit. Strength does not equal leadership. Honor does. Hierarchy does. Successful hunts do. So if humans are divided by gender politics, Yautja are divided by whether you can survive a hunt. And a lot of there are men that do, like wolf and snake and grayback, right? So I did a whole analogy about lions and wolves, right? Lions rule. I'm gonna do that video. I gotta do that video too. I don't know what channel I'm gonna put that on. I don't know what channel I'm gonna put that on. So I'm gonna do that video too, right? Yautja men are more like wolves. Leadership earned by capability, consistency, and mastery, not just muscle, which was said in Predator Badlands when Deck and Descent, I forgot her name, Thea, or whatever her name was, had that conversation about wolves. But there was a reason why they did that. Because they're trying to redefine what masculinity is, right? See, the thing is that masculinity is dominance by brute force. And male lions do have to prove their leadership because remember, a male lion does what? He protects his clan. He makes sure there's cohesion and there's discipline there. So lions don't just rule by brute force alone, right? And actually, both these concepts, dominance by brute force and leadership through protection, cohesion, and discipline, both of these are needed in the human and male hierarchy. I gotta do that video. Yautja men are more like wolves, right? Female Yautja are often built like lions, raw physical superiority. But society still remains led by males because the cultural values discipline, honor, tradition, and strategic intelligence above raw power, right? Which mimics male human beings, right? Male human beings, we don't rule just by raw power, right? Because raw power, what happens is that other people with raw power, they can gang up and group up and come destroy you, right? There's a lot of like, yo, I got to do those videos, all right? Already told you this, already did all this. So truly alien species, not just human with mass. So they flipped human gender norms to show that they weren't bound by our biology. The species divided by hunter strength and survival. By making females even stronger than males, they created narrative tension, not a feminist message, just world building logic. So I think I already went through this already. I'm gonna link the last video I did on this. I'm gonna put it into my description. Anyway, this is Kish Yachty Gaming Network. I just really fear what's gonna happen. I don't fear what's gonna happen. because I'm not. I try to enjoy entertainment without allowing it to rule over me. But I know a lot of the masses of the young boys and men watch these movies, and what's going to happen is when they undo what they're basically trying to turn men into slaves and give women the rulership of things. And we already see with black culture and black identity what happens when it's a female matrilineal led society. What happens? And there's no patriarchy there. So, anyway, Kiss Shorty Gaming Network. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.